Hello everyone! GoldenNova here, and welcome to another episode of Plus Ones, a series where we take a single card, break down what it does, and explore what it can do. Collection Pack 2020 has had quite a few crazy reveals so far. A number of anime archetypes will make their physical print debut in this set, among them being Jim Crocodile Cook's fossil cards, Roboppy's appliancers, and the infamous Numeron Gates. However, a recent reveal has caused quite a bit of discussion in the community. Despite the Master of Mech Lords Aporia having his additional support release in Duelists of Gloom, one of his off-brand cards will be making an appearance in this set, and it asks the question that has plagued players of this game since Pot of Greed was banned. How far are duelists willing to go to draw cards? Presenting High Rate Draw. Before we get to the analysis proper, a quick reminder that if you've enjoyed my content so far, please make sure to like and subscribe. That way you can get my videos delivered to you fresh, and my brain makes the feel happy juice whenever good number go up. Oh, and ringing the bell is a pretty good way to stay on top of things too. Some of my more experimental videos tend to get buried by the algorithm, which really sucks because they're the ones I tend to be most proud of, which means I think they're the ones that you'll like the most. Okay, enough of my plugging, let's get back to the video. When High Rate Draw is activated, you can destroy at least 2 of your own monsters, then draw 1 card for every 2 monsters destroyed this way. So you can activate High Rate Draw and destroy 2 of your monsters to draw 1, or destroy 4 and draw 2. So no matter what, you're going to be resolving this as a minus, and the way it's worded, it only counts the cards that were actually destroyed, so anything that survives by a replacement effect, like being equipped with a Union monster, is not going to bypass this. Also, during your opponent's main phase, you can target 1 monster you control, then on resolution destroy that monster and set High Rate Draw from your grave, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. So High Rate Draw essentially lets you trade monsters for draws, but at a very unfavorable rate. Playing this willy-nilly is going to prove a very important lesson to the uninitiated that drawing at any cost is a quick way to lose games. So the question now is, which theme can support this best? But that might be an off-center way of thinking about this. Since High Rate Draw won't win you the game by itself, we shouldn't be thinking of it in terms of a build-around card, the kind that are so good that you just have to make a deck tailored to it. I think the correct question is, which theme can be supported best by this card? It sounds like I'm splitting hairs here, I know, but I feel like it's important to make sure that the questions are as accurate as possible to the goals we're trying to achieve. This will keep us from just trying to brew a deck with all the best on-destruction triggers with no other theming, and helps us to focus on established strategies that this card can upgrade. So who's first on the list? Well, Cosmos have a pretty interesting relation to the destruction mechanic. With all their best ships replacing themselves on destruction, they resist such effects from your opponent, and many no TK have been executed by abusing this function. However, the deck already has Dark Destroyer and Cosmojo to accomplish its more devastating plays. Is the addition of an off-theme version that can just draw cards what the deck needs? I'm not entirely convinced of this, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't have some merit. While I feel the on-field effect is lacking, High Rate Draw being an on-demand destruction while in the grave means that you can access Dark Lady in the middle of your opponent's turn, springing a negation body on them at an inopportune moment. What about Unchained? Every single monster in that theme have effects that trigger on destruction, that's basically their whole deal. But I feel like they've already got that handled. I mean, ignoring the fact that all the monsters have effects that can destroy each other and their set cards, Escape of the Unchained is also a normal trap that can blow up your monsters. One could argue that High Rate Draw could be used to blow up one of your Unchained in response to something that would remove them in an alternate way, like being banished or bounced, but that seems like a very specific contingency to add a card to your build for, especially since Rakia already exists. So Cosmo can use it but not very effectively, and Unchained already have a plethora of in-theme options, but I think we have a theme that's at the perfect crossroads of needing destruction effects without already having a critical mass of them. Fire Kings. It's true that the theme has ways of triggering destruction, but I think it lacks enough of them, and with effective activation conditions. Fire King Island and Circle are pretty exceptional, but our other options tend to run into obstacles if things don't go exactly the way you want them to. Onslaught gets you straight to high Garunix, but unless you're going second and have it in your opener, you aren't likely to resolve it. True King Agnamazid has about the same requirements as High Rate Draw, but can't be used as a quick effect for trickier plays. And both Yaksha and Arvada get to blow things up, but only in response to certain other actions, meaning they can't be used to jumpstart your plays by yourself. Since a number of Fire Kings can special summon themselves from the hand, and Garunix and Nephthys continue to revive themselves turn after turn, having the minimum monster requirement for high rate draw is something you can count on. And another way to blow up your own monsters to get plays started, or to avoid unfavorable removal at spell speed 2, is a godsend, and feels like it'll give the deck even more control over its own play sequences. In conclusion, high rate draw should be thought of as a way to enable destruction effects, not as another way to just draw cards. In essence, the draws are a way to smooth out any minuses you might incur from activating such a destruction effect, instead of as a way of just getting card advantage. It also allows you to activate those effects on your terms without having to wait for your opponent to step into them, or worse, never getting to because your opponent plays around it. But that's all the speculation I have for this destructive draw. This perilous plussing engine. Are there any themes that you'd like to see use high rate draw? And if you played any of the decks that I mentioned in this video, what do you think about my takeaways? Knowing the ins and outs of every deck in this game would be a Herculean task, so I'd love to hear the opinions of those who've put the work in to learn these decks more than I have. And if you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.